Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome. My name is Jennifer Dudek-Lenis. I am a career and recruitment specialist within the Department of Social Work and Child Advocacy in the College for Humanities and Social Sciences. I know that's quite a mouthful. I've been with the university for 8 years with career services and the past year in my current role. And a little bit, I'll tell you a little bit more about what I do in that role. But I am part of the college-wide, career services team of partners supporting our students in charting a path to success, which is really what tonight is all about. How can you, as a parent or a loved one, help your student, make the most out of the opportunities that are available at college to, graduate and someday, chart a great career path. So Career Services 101 will go over some very basic information and types of support and resources that are available. So we can now go on to introduce the rest of our team. So we have the College of Humanities and Social Sciences career team. And we'll start with our director, Donna
Thank,
Robertson.
thank you so much, Jennifer. Good evening, everyone. My name is Donna Robertson. I'm the career director here in CHSS. I'm relatively new to Montclair, but not new to career development. I've been doing this for about 30 years, worked in a lot of different universities, a lot of different industries. But really, your students are in great hands here. And particularly because we have an amazing team. Two of them are here today. So, Michaela and Denise, I will let you introduce yourselves.
Hello, my name is Michaela Mack. I'm a career advisor for the College of Humanities and Social Sciences. I've been in this role for almost 3 years now, and I am an alumni of Montclair as well. So I was a student here for my undergrad and grad. So I'm happy to also answer any questions from the student side as well as the employer, or not employer, as well as the employee side. But I'm just happy to be here today. Denise, go right ahead.
Hi, I'm Denise Owens. I've been here at Montclair State for about 4 years, and I've been a career counselor on and off since 2006. Um, I do the same work as Michaela, and I also teach out of the Women and Gender Studies office, and I also teach the career readiness course, which I don't know if we're talking about today, but we teach a career readiness course with the university as well. So I'm happy to be here. And then Donna will talk a little bit about who Amanda is.
Yes, Amanda, she is an amazing addition to our team. She has been coordinating the internships and co-ops for the Justice Studies program for several years. We're now happy to have her in with the career team to continue to do that and more. So if your student is Justice Studies or has an interest in that, they've probably encountered her, but if not, they should definitely schedule some time to meet with her. And now turn it back over to Jennifer, and she can talk a little bit more
Sure.
about her unique role, as well as our pre-med program.
Most definitely. And before I kind of dive into that, I just want to mention with the career services team that just introduced themselves, they're part of the larger career student success center on the first floor of Dixon Hall. So most likely your students are taking lots of classes in and out of Dixon, and very convenient right there on the first floor across from the elevators is where you can find the career services team in addition to all the academic advisors. So definitely, mention to your student about this great office, and hopefully they've come in at some point to talk to career advising or certainly academic advising as well. My office, I'm located on the third floor because I'm part of an academic department with the social work and child advocacy group. And really, I offer customized career support that does a little bit of a deeper dive into the specialized fields of child advocacy and social work. Both of those programs are very applied programs where there are required practicums where you do go out there into the field and gain specific experiences. And our social work program is a nationwide, accredited program where we have to, certainly prepare our students in certain career competencies, and I do support them in that. So I am a resource for those students, and we also have university-wide now Charlotte Kasperkita, who is the pre-med director. So she leads a team of pre-med and pre-health advisors who will really guide students who are considering, life after college, going on to graduate programs in different health professions. And there are a lot of very supportive developmental programs that go along with that. And that office is also helping to spearhead a health professions and graduate, career day that's happening later in October.
Absolutely. So, I know that parents, we want the best for our children, and we always are concerned about, what are we doing? What are they doing? I'm also in the same boat as many of you. I also have a college freshman right now. So feel free to also ask any questions from that parental standpoint. I also have a college grad, so I got one through, and I'm starting all over with another one. And I know that sometimes parents are like, well, my student doesn't really know what they want to do. They haven't chosen a major. And the parents are, concerned. As parents, we do get concerned, or you're like, why are they majoring in that? They're not going to get a job in that. So I'm here to tell you that it's okay. First of all, about 30% of students actually do change their major while they're in college. So if your student comes home from a break, they're home over winter break and they're like, oh, I'm going to change my major. And you're like, again, do not find wall and hit head on wall. It's okay. It's normal. It happens. Students who do find a major that they really like tend to have higher GPAs. So even if you don't understand the major, but if they're enjoying it, it's a good thing. And it's really about transferable skills and experiences. So it's not just about the major, it's also about what are those skill sets and experiences that they have that they can take wherever they go. Because even though we're worried about maybe the first career, the reality is it is probably the first, and there are a lot more to come. So we want to make sure that they can adapt to many different environments and many different experiences throughout their lifetime. And so, how we help, we provide a lot of services. As Jennifer said, we're right there on that first floor, that big red wall. We're really hard to miss in Dixon. So if your student doesn't know, just tell them look for the big red wall. And we offer individualized career advising so they can schedule appointments one-on-one. We have different career assessments. What do I want to be when I grow up this week? The resume, the cover letter, job and internship search. We have a system called Handshake, which we can certainly share a little bit more about later. Helping to network. We know, particularly since COVID, interaction with other humans sometimes is a challenge for some of our students. And so we understand that. So we want to help them feel a little bit more comfortable and confident with that. Grad school. If you're a first year parent, you're like, I'm really not ready for that. If you're the parent of a senior, this may be in the cards sooner than you think, but we can certainly help with that. And of course, lots of events and workshops. As Jennifer mentioned, we have a bunch of activities coming up this month. So if your student says, oh, there's nothing career related in October, they need to take another look because we have a lot more happening. So we'll definitely can share information about that. And the thing is with our students, come early, come often. It's never too early. And we like regulars. So it's okay if they come by and see us. And then after this, I think I'm going to stop talking, but let somebody else talk. But this is a little bit about NACE. We have a governing body of career advisors and also recruiters, and it's called NACE, which is the National Association of Colleges and Employers. And one of the things that you should know, again, it's not about just the major. Employers have been surveyed and they have been asked, hey, what do you look for when you hire? And they said, you know what, regardless of major, these are the 8 competencies that we really look for when we know that student is ready for us. So regardless of whatever their major of study, they should have some sense of career and self-development, communication, critical thinking, equity and inclusion, leadership, professionalism, teamwork, and technology. Those are 8 competencies that they should be able to master no matter what degree they complete while they're here at Montclair. So it's okay. Our job is to help them figure this out with whatever degree plan they're in and help them to get experiences that will help them with that at the end. All right, so now I'm going to stop and let other people talk.
I'll come in and talk. So this is our 4-year career exploration and prep guide. I know this can look like a lot of things to do each year, and many students are in different aspects of their career and their academic lives. So this isn't necessarily that you have to follow it perfectly, but this is what we recommend generally to be doing each year. Year one is really focusing on exploration, right? We want the student understanding who they are, what they like, what they're skilled at. So, for instance, they could be taking some of the classes that they're interested in. They may be diving into a new major or a new topic. But then on the career side, outside of the classroom, we want them to be creating their resume. We want them to start to get more involved on campus or off campus, whether it is on campus involvement by joining clubs and orgs or volunteering off campus. Really, any involvement is really important there. And starting to dabble in career. So going to our events, especially career fairs early is really important because then you're able to get a feel of what exactly this event is like, and also get an idea of what you may be interested in. So for instance, we really recommend first year, second year, even when they're not looking for a job or an internship, to attend our career fairs because then they have the opportunity to explore without the nerves of thinking that they have to land that job in that moment. So then moving forward into year two, that's really when you're meant to connect. So now we know and have this idea of what skills we're interested in using in our career, and really starting to figure out what your connections are, who your connections are, and how to fill in any of the gaps. So a big major area of that, year two and year three, are going to be internships and what we call co-op, which I will speak in a few moments about. Whether it's part-time work, full-time work, any job experience is really, really crucial for our students because when it comes time to graduate, your employers that they are applying for want to see that they have their academics, they have work experience, and that they're involved in the community. Those are really the three genres that they're looking for, if you will, on that resume. So we want to make sure we have those categories. We also recommend that they shadow any professionals of interest or speak to professionals of interest to start to feel out if that is an area that they may be interested in. So if they maybe want to be a social worker, but then they talk to a social worker and realize that, oh, maybe I'm not interested in this, that's perfectly fine. But we want to start that exploration early. That way it doesn't come when they're about to graduate and they panic. Further, continuing with that resume, starting to build it more, adding all the experience on it, connecting with alumni. So really that second year is focusing on connection. The third year is going to be that experience. So in order for a student to understand if that's a field that they really are interested in and to feel that they've picked the right one, we recommend that they experience it in some way, whether it's an internship, whether it is interviewing people, or having that conversation, speaking with alumni, speaking with professionals, speaking with employers, etc. This is really their time to get experience and to experience the field for themselves. Then in the fourth year, that's when we get to celebrate. That's when we have graduation. We have graduation every December and May, depending on when the student is graduating. So that is our time to really focus in, make sure their LinkedIn looks good, make sure they're connecting with people, applying to different jobs, and getting them ready to move forward.
So parents ask all sorts of questions about how students should prioritize their college experience. It is really important to have a solid GPA, but that doesn't mean you have to have a 4.0. Students will have more opportunities if they have a solid GPA. And that can mean anything from really a 3.0 to a 3.5. That's a solid GPA. Even higher is better, but we also want students to know that that GPA will entail that they will get more opportunities like going to graduate school, study abroad, internships. Those are all possibilities that open up with a good, solid GPA. However, we also really encourage students to become well-rounded. So getting involved on campus, asking your student if they're getting involved. Not only will they make friends, but they will get leadership experience through these extracurricular activities. There will also have leadership opportunities that they might not get in their jobs or their part-time jobs that they have on the weekend or at night. That being said, work experience is important. A lot of students have to work in order to afford to go to college, and we understand that. We want students to prioritize getting jobs that will that works well with their schedule, their class schedule. So we really encourage that as well. Please don't let your student get through 4 years of college without having some sort of paid work or employment, or some kind of extracurricular activity. It's really hard to make a resume shine when they've really just focused on their academics throughout college. The more involved they are on campus, the more likely they are to stay here and to finish and to graduate, which at the end of the day is our goal.
Perfectly said.
I'm back. Okay, so for experiential learning, this may be a term that you hear a lot right now. It's definitely a focus in higher education in that students need to learn through experience. So there's a few different ways that they can do this. We often think of jobs or internships, but there are many other ways such as work study, volunteering, doing research, having a practicum, which is really an internship more or less for credit. They can student teach, they can do so many different things. Really what's important is that the student will, in their classes, learn the material and then through an experiential learning opportunity, be able to get their hands on it and experience it and really understand what they've been learning and apply it in that way. So this will allow them to see how they are in the work environment, start to learn how to be in the work environment. As silly as it may sound, since many of us have been working for a long time, we forget that it's something that we learned. So it's really important for students to begin to learn that early on. It's also going to allow them to develop their skills, their knowledge, test out career options. So if they're interested in that field, be able to go into it and see if they do indeed like it, or if they might want to pivot a little bit, or maybe they learn about a new role within that experience. Also, it lets them gain experience. So just like Denise was saying, we don't want to see a senior about to graduate say, hey, I don't have any work experience, because an employer won't love that as much. So we really want to make sure that when it comes time to make their resume, that we have information to fill in. And of course, and most importantly, this is building their professional network. I really don't love the word network. I think it scares many people. But what is important here is that they're making connections and they're building connections with people who can help them, with people who can mentor them and guide them. And really all experience is helpful. So any experience is good experience, like we tell our students, whether it's volunteering, interning, a job, whatever it may be, it all goes on their resume. It can all be discussed. So whether it's paid or unpaid, if it's for credit or not, doesn't matter. It all goes on there. When it comes to getting credit, we also assist with students to get credit for an internship, and that is through what's called our co-op course, which really is just a course in which you're reflecting upon your experience at that internship or job even. So if a student has an internship or a job that relates to their field, relates to their interests, they can come to our office, speak to me or Amanda Chu, and we'll be able to help them get credit for it as well. So it definitely helps. Some majors are going to require it, like justice studies, like child advocacy, whereas other majors, it is an option for them. They're not forced to do an internship to graduate, but we do highly recommend it, especially to get credit for it as well.
Right. And so certain departments like the social work and child advocacy, we actually have we call the internship a practicum, and we have a practicum coordinator who really helps a student kind of connect with different employer partners that we have. We have over 200 employer partners in the community. So, and a lot of departments are very connected to different, community organizations and agencies. And we do an inventory of what the student's interested in, and we try to guide the student in finding a good place for the practicum experience. And even as part of that, I do mock interviews with all of our students, and as they often have to interview for these different practicums or internships. And definitely, I just want to reinforce having some type of, whether it's a part-time job or student leadership experience, it gives students something to talk about when they go into that internship, because maybe this is their first time stepping foot into like the actual profession that they want to do. But they want to show that they are bringing those transferable skills in, talk about a time you were a member of a team, like they need to have some material to talk about and have grown and developed a bit. So definitely this all kind of flows together. And any type of of learning is important, whether it's in a classroom, in an internship, or in a student club organization. And often through these different types of involvement on campus, students can find out more about what they love doing and what are they good at, and that can also guide their journey as well. So it's kind of a lot of different paths of data from the students' lives are coming to help that creation of a future professional path. But there's a lot of support, certainly in the academic departments where it is required. But even if it's not required, absolutely, employers are really expecting that students graduate from college with some type of an experiential learning component on their resume.
This is my favorite thing to talk about. So a lot of our students, they feel that they're not really sure what they want to do, and they come to ask us for some ideas to figure it out. So really, people pick their careers in two ways. The first way can be that they look to the future, they know what career they want, and then they work backwards. This we created for students who may not relate to that and may say, well, I don't know what that future looks like, so how do I explore my options? And this is a visual to help us through that. So we start at the top where you have that assessment piece. This is really where you're thinking about what are my skills, what do I enjoy? And if we go back to that 4-year plan that I was talking about, that also talks about how the first year we really want students understanding who they are, exploring who they are. So this follows that as well. You want the student to be thinking about their skills, about their strengths, and then making sure that that is a skill that they want to use in their professional life. So for instance, we have many students who may in high school have been very artistic, but then they go and they major in art and suddenly they don't love it anymore. So this is really just a check to make sure like, hey, are we sure this is what we want to do? We pick the skill that you would like. For instance, I'll go with helping. Right. So a lot of our students, especially in humanities and social sciences, say that they're excellent at helping people. They want to communicate with others, and that's the skills that they want to be using. So then you move down into this research phase, and this is where you start to begin to examine job titles, work environments, employers, what education, if you need a master's or just a bachelor's or a PhD in order to do these jobs. So some examples for using communication and the helping field may be counseling, social work, human resources, even marketing, anything like that. So what you want to do here is pick one. Pick one that is the most interesting to you in that moment, and then explore it. So you can explore it through internships, through volunteering, going to employer events, speaking with employers, through shadowing, through what we call informational interviews, which is where you speak to a professional in that field and almost interview them with questions of what it's like to do their job and so on. And then through that exploration or through experiential learning, more or less, you understand if it's a good fit for you or not, because you were able to get your hands on it and really try it out. Now, if it ends up that the student says, hey, this isn't a good fit for me, that's fine, because we just go right back into the funnel in a way and explore more jobs and other opportunities. This is something that many of our students and many people will go through a few times in their lives. We pivot a lot. Most people have about 5 or more careers in their lifetime. So we are really focused on figuring out what that student wants to do right out of college. And this is one way that we do so.
So there's a few key resources that we use in our office to help do all the things that we've spoken about. The first one is Handshake, and this is a digital platform that connects students to outside employers and job opportunities. It also connects your student to us. Students can download the Handshake app on their phone, and they can use that to look for jobs, to make appointments with us, and to even look for templates for resumes. So they can kind of start working on that template. They always have the option to meet with a real person. They always have that opportunity, but we have some resources out there so they can get started on their own. The next one is Big Interview. Big Interview is relatively new. And this is using AI to help students. There's some videos on Big Interview, but there's a module where they can actually do a mock interview with like a computer AI, and it critiques how they do. So we really are pushing out Big Interview as a new, exciting way to connect with students and to get them ready for the world of work. Finally, we have, this is just on the Montclair website. This is what can I do with a major in? So maybe your student is majoring in something that there isn't a direct career path with. I myself was a history major. So on what I can do with this major website is students can look at different majors and they can explore what are some job opportunities that they might not have thought about that typically coincide with that major. Okay. This one's me too. I'm sorry. We also have some exciting the exciting fall 2024 career and internship fair. It's next week, Wednesday, October 9th from 1 to 4 in the University Hall Conference Center. If you haven't been there, it's really an amazing room. It has 360-degree views. Is that right? 360-degree views of New York City. We have a really diverse group of employers that are from all walks of life. So we encourage all of our students who say, there's going to be nothing for me there. There's usually something for everyone at this fair. Encourage your student to dress to impress when they arrive at this fair, but also encourage your first-year student to attend the fair. We prefer if they don't wear sweatpants or their gym clothes, but if they just dress nicely, just to get a vibe for it. So they can come to the fair. There's always free goodies and free giveaways at the fair, but to come to this fair and to really just experience. So the first time they're experiencing it, it's not when they're looking for an internship or looking for a job. We really want them to come and experience what it's like. It's a really fun day. They don't have to commit more than a few minutes to it when they're a freshman, but as they get more comfortable and as they progress through their academic program, they'll know that it's there for them. We also have something really exciting. We have LinkedIn photos. We take professional photos of students for their LinkedIn accounts. So that's another thing we encourage students to do. And this is just one of our career fairs, but this is the one we wanted to highlight because this is the one that is coming up really fast. But we have some really exciting fairs, not only in the fall, but in the spring as well, which I think Donna spoke about already. Okay.
So there's a lot going on here, and there's a lot to take in. If this is your first student going to college, I'm sure it can be really overwhelming. But even if this is your third, each kid is different. Each institution is different. So here's some things that you as a parent that you can consider. Support your students' exploration in their research. So, again, if they've changed their major for the fifth time, instead of screaming, just say, so tell me, why did you choose that? Probing questions, get them to tell you what they have explored and what they have researched. And if they're like, oh, because my roommate did it. Okay, well, maybe a little bit more exploration and research is going to be necessary. But ask them questions about why they chose that. And then encourage them to talk to their academic advisors too, because if they're changing majors, how is it impacting their overall curriculum? We have a lot of general education requirements. They may be able to explore using those requirements. They may even be able to add a minor. So they should definitely stay in contact with their academic advisors as well as us with their career advisors. Connect them to people that you know. You know more people than you think. That you have people at work, there's neighbors, there's people in your circle. Connect them. Maybe there's someone that they can talk to just to get an idea, and they'll feel a little bit more comfortable because it's someone that maybe they've already met, someone they know. Even with the holidays coming up, they may not even know what their own relatives do. So take advantage of some of those opportunities. Encourage them to get involved. I know we've said that multiple times. We really cannot emphasize that enough. If all your student does is go to class, they are not getting the most out of their college experience. My analogy is it's like buying a car without ever turning on the air conditioning. Yes, it'll get you from point A to point B, but will you be as cool in the summer? No. So you want to make sure that your student really takes advantage of all the resources available. Also think about those professional behaviors. One of the things that dawned on me was that my own kids, they only answer a phone where they know who the other person is on the other on the other line. They look at their cell phone and they see exactly who it is. They weren't taught how to answer a phone when you don't know who's on the other line, right? but that's like a professional skill set, being able to answer a phone professionally. They've never maybe done that before. So if there's opportunities for you to encourage professional behavior, when they even write you a note, instead of just saying, hey, maybe they could be a little bit more formal. It's good practice for them. Remind them to check their email, their school email regularly. Again, I have a freshman. I'm always asking her, did you check your email? Did you follow up? She actually needs to set up a professional voicemail. So it's one of those things that they don't always do, but it's good to remind them. Again, having professional attire, and we'll talk a little bit about some options there in a second. So you want to make sure that that's not the reason that they're not going to something. Creating their handshake profile is really important. They already have an account. We imported all of them into the system. So they're like, I don't have a handshake account. Wrong, they do. They just haven't logged into it. So encouraging them to do that. And also too, if they don't have a major, or if they have a major that they're not really feeling really right now, there's actually a free online assessment called ONET, mynextmove.org, open to anyone. If you have another student at home who's not ready for college yet, it's not too early. They can start doing this. It's great. It's the emoji career test. This is literally yucky face, smiley face. It does not get any simpler than this. So it's a really easy thing that you can do and encourage your students to do. And of course, refer them to us. That's what we're here for. It is never too early. And if you have a senior, it is never too late. We still love them. It is fine. They can come see us even after they walk across the stage. Somehow in June, they're like, oh, maybe I should be doing something. We're open in June. They can come see us. It's fine. Not a problem.
So speaking about professional attire, Montclair State University has a resource for that. It's called Rocky's Closet, and it allows students to come and pick out professional attire to own, but for free. It's absolutely free. And they can pick out a great outfit to use for job interviews, career fairs, networking events, or just to go to work or their internship. So it's a great resource that's available in one of our halls, Alice Paul's Hall. You can a student can make an appointment, but we also have opportunities throughout the year on campus when there's a Rocky's Closet pop-up shop where the volunteers and staff of Rocky's Closet will bring a lot of the items to a commonly trafficked academic hall, and students will pass through and be able to pick up items as well at that time. But definitely it's very super easy to use. It's all based on the student's availability, contacting Rocky's Closet and setting up an appointment. So definitely encourage your students to take advantage of that. It's a great service if that's something that would benefit them, if they don't already have some professional attire in their wardrobe.
This is an example of some of the emails that we will send out. So your student gets a lot of emails. Unfortunately, we're adding to it, but our career services office, we send out the Hawk-Eyed Guide to Career Success. And this is really for us to share upcoming events, featured jobs, internships, fellowships, any news that we may have. We will link how to schedule with us, have some deadline reminders. So if they're not sure what to be looking for when they're in their email, it will come up as CHSS Career Advising. And every single career office, if you're outside of ours, has some sort of email like this as well.
Okay, wonderful. So we've been talking a lot, but hopefully you learned a lot, but you may have lots of questions. So we wanted to open it now for question and answer. It's a small enough group, so if you'd like to, you can unmute yourself or put it in the chat. If you have a question that you prefer that we reach out to you at a later date to, give you more detailed information or any specific question about your child in particular, not that we can speak specifically about someone's situation, but like in general, giving them guidance. We also have the possibility for you to submit a question online. Those questions would not be answered right now in this moment, but a member of our team would be reaching out later with different questions that were posed through the QR code that you see on the left-hand side of your screen. And we will definitely get back to you. But definitely right now it's a small enough group, so we welcome any and all questions.
All right. Seems like there's no questions. You guys put on a wonderful presentation. Very informative.
Well, thank you for the
Hi, I'm
opportunity.
sorry. I have a question. I was typing it, but I'll ask it out loud. So my daughter is a junior. She's a transfer student and she's majoring in language, business, and culture. And I wanted to know what kind of companies are available at the fair on October 9th that might pertain to her major. She's studying this major in French.
Honestly, anything is viable for her. With that combination, it's very similar to like a Bachelor of Arts in International Business, which is very transferable to a lot of different areas. So one of the things I would encourage her to do is she can log on to Handshake and see the exact employers who are coming. And if she goes in, she can see actually what they're recruiting for. So she can see who's recruiting for internships, who's recruiting for full-time. She can also see what jobs they may have posted today. She can also link to their website to see what jobs they may have posted. So I think having her do some advanced, some research, some homework prior to the event would be really helpful. We're also going to have some resume and career fair prep tabling next week, I believe from 11 to 2. And so if she wants to also, review that list with one of us during that time, she's welcome to do so.
Okay. As a junior, what else should she be doing? Besides, like, I mean, is it a good time for her to get an internship or a job, or should she wait
Absolutely.
for senior year?
No,
It is. Yeah.
do not wait. Junior year is a key year, particularly if she's interested in something like in the business area. Um, a lot of businesses, they will recruit now for summer 2025. And as a junior, she is one of the primary targets for those summer internships. If they can, what I call like sort of like recruit once, hire twice, that's what they like to do. So some of those internship opportunities that she may be viable for, those internships might even convert to full-time employee. So next summer is critical and is ideal for a junior, but some of those application windows are now. So we want to make sure that she doesn't miss them.
Okay. Thank, thank you very
That was a great question. Others?
I
One
think
just
just one in the
popped up
chat, right? What are the career opportunities for is medical humanities, I believe? Let's see. With a minor in public service.
Oh, that's a fun one. I love the medical humanities one. I'm still learning about this one myself, I'll be honest with you. But normally students who are interested in that are typically interested in healthcare in some shape or form. And Michaela and Denise, by all, feel free to chime in, but healthcare is a multi-billion-dollar industry in this country. And there's a lot to play with in that space, and particularly with the interest in public service. So that certainly warrants a conversation so we can maybe help her fine tune her search a little bit because it could seem very overwhelming. And so we may need to narrow down and help her put that into some more bite-sized pieces to make it a little bit more manageable for her. But there is a lot out there for her. But we want to talk with her a little bit more about what skills she's interested in using, what she feels she's good at, and where in this thing called healthcare she might be particularly interested. Oh, I'm sorry, your son. My fault. So same thing.
Yeah, I mean, and it really depends. I mean, with your son, what direction he wants to go in. We have a lot of medical humanities majors who decide to go into medicine into a certain extent, and go to graduate school for something more specific. There's really a lot of opportunities for them in insurance, in healthcare, in hospital administration. So we do have a lot of opportunities there. We would encourage your son to, maybe even make an appointment with one of us so we can kind of figure out what specifically he wants to do. So we can kind of round it down a little bit to what he might want to do after college.
Yeah, I can add to that. I've met with a bunch of medical humanities students. What I really like about it is that they're taking the humanistic approach to the medical field and being very patient focused, which I really admire and I like that. So we've had a few students get positions as medical scribes, going into nonprofits, health insurance, doctor's offices, medical sales, especially patient advocacy, community health worker. Trying to see, I usually keep a list here. Radiological, rad techs, anything like that. So they can really go into so many different fields because they have the skills to do it. And I think that's a common misconception of our humanities and social sciences is that if you're going to go for, let's say, psychology, but then you don't become a psychologist, what's the point? But that's really not what we're looking for here. Our focus is the student understanding what all of their options are and how to utilize those skills. So if a psychology student wants to go into something like marketing, where we wouldn't naturally put that together, they're able to do that. So for instance, they could go into marketing because they know how to work with people, they know how to communicate, they know how to appeal to others. So it's really a matter of figuring out where exactly your student sees themselves in that field.
Any other questions? Not, you know where we are.
Yeah. And kind of like another just overall takeaway is that, we're here to support your students in building habits for success that they're gonna carry with them throughout their whole career. We talked about like professionalism and knowing themselves well, and thinking about some of those core competencies that through a lifetime they're going to be growing and developing in all of those areas. They're at a certain point right now, but we're never meant to stay where we are. We always have that growth mindset that we're going to keep challenging ourselves, keep stepping outside of our comfort zone. It can be a little intimidating for students to start, thinking about, oh, I have to go for my first internship, or I'm going to step into like a career fair with like over 60 employers and like just the amount of people in the room and the booths. And our services really can help students learn how to do that elevator pitch, right? How to introduce themselves at a career fair, how to get the nerves out. And a lot of career success is doing your research and being prepared, so that when you step into that environment, you kind of have it already, and you just, are able to kind of take a deep breath and be like, okay, I've got this. But I mean, over and over again, I think students, it's a chance for them to step outside of their comfort zone, try something new, and build that confidence. And it's an ongoing process. And we're never done in that. You're always trying to strengthen ourselves and get better. I think a lot of the adults in the room, we're all still on a journey of how can we grow to be better people and better professionals, and open to different directions. And, just knowing, career development isn't a one and done deal. It's just, where are you in the process? Are you at least taking some steps? That's what we want to see, that there's some type of movement, but it's not like you have to jump to a certain destination, but your student should be actively engaged in the process. And as long as you see that, they're moving in the right direction. So, yeah, I mean, it's a journey, right? And I think we're all in this field because like we're so excited to help your students in it. We've all been through it and we're still in it. And just know, like, if they need a pep talk, I love giving pep talks, but any of the individuals here in the Zoom room, it's the same thing. I love, a student comes in and they're nervous or they're thinking I have nothing to offer, but after talking to them, like, no, look what you have to offer, and we kind of help them see that and maybe look at themselves from a very different perspective and help them come up with language for how to talk about themselves, how to talk about their skills, how to present themselves. And like that question that you get often in interviews that everyone hates, tell me about yourself. Well, how do you answer that? So things basic like that, we can work with your students and get them more comfortable and get them kind of thinking strategically about how do they differentiate themselves from the competition when they are at that stage of looking actively for internships and jobs. How do they highlight their strengths? So just know we're really all here. We're on your children's team. Encourage them to come to us. I think one of the saddest things sometimes is that students don't utilize our services enough. So yeah, whether it's students are freshmen, sophomore, junior, senior, whatever, or even just graduated, we love when students come and want to meet with us, and that we can be a supportive sounding board or a coach or advise. We wear different hats in trying to encourage and support your students. But our goal is that they are successful. So definitely just I think the basic thing is please get them connected to us, and from there we're going to also just be supporting them. And hopefully they're checking their email with those professional habits and they see all the great opportunities that are coming and that they kind of make it a priority to give it a try, right? Even though it's not something that might feel natural or comfortable, but no, just go ahead and do it, and see what it's like. So that's just
Yeah.
some advice I'll offer there. But
Yeah, we're pretty nice. We're not scary, and we often have snacks. So if nothing
all
else,
right.
come to come for a snack.
Free candy, right?
Yeah, we always have something. So yeah, we are here for your student, and feel free to reach out, scan the code if you have other questions. Feel free to follow our Instagram as well. So you can encourage your students to do what they need to do. And thank you so much for spending your evening with us. We know you're busy, so thank you for taking the time.
Have a great night, everyone.